Saturday evening, November 4th, 1995. Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin had just sung Shir LaShalom, the song for peace, along with some 100,000 Israelis in Tel Aviv.
He was a man of the left who was respected on the right. He was a man who was cautious, who made bold decisions.
Shortly afterward, a Jewish extremist gunned down the prime minister.
It was not just a political assassination. It was the murder of a hero and a grandfather.
Rabin is buried here in Mount Herzl Cemetery in Jerusalem. Many Israelis come here to honor his legacy. His murder stunned the nation and the world. Leaders from some 40 countries traveled here to Jerusalem for Rabin's funeral.
Though we no longer hear his deep and booming voice, it is he who has brought us together again here, in word and deed, for peace.
A few years earlier, Rabin told CBN founder Pat Robertson Israel must remain strong in the face of threats.
Does it seem as if Syria, possibly any of the other Arab states, might want to move into some kind of a jihad against Jerusalem, against Israel, or is that likely?
I was born here in Jerusalem. I fought in the two wars that decided the fate of Jerusalem to become the capital of the state of Israel. And I believe that they'll never be able to fulfill what they try to achieve as long as we'll keep our powder dry, our belief unshaken, and we'll have the patience to do what our heritage, religion call us to do.
Michael Widlansky, author of Battle for Our Minds, says the problems of today closely resemble those from decades ago.
Some of the world's leaders don't interpret events correctly. Rabin was genuinely loved in Israel, but even at the time of his death, many Israelis thought that his bold action towards peace was a mistake.
In 1993, Rabin and PLO chairman Yasser Arafat's representatives signed the Declaration of Principles in the presence of U.S. President Bill Clinton on the White House lawn.
The agreement with the Palestine Liberation Organization did several things. First of all, it saved the Palestine Liberation Organization. The second thing is it brought in an era of terror unmatched in Israel's history. And the third thing is it taught Israelis that to build peace required more than just hoping for peace. It meant building security.
In 1975, 18 years before Prime Minister Rabin shook Arafat's hand, he told Robertson that while superpowers could play a role in Arab-Israeli peacemaking, they could not replace the parties themselves.
Any peace negotiations have to start on the assumption that the purpose of the exercise, the purpose of the negotiations, is to make peace. And to make peace between whom? Between the Arab countries and Israel.
Prime Minister, if the Arab countries are not truly willing to accept peace negotiations with Israel, do you feel that the efforts of the superpowers, either the United States or Russia, will bring anything good towards peace?
I think that the major powers can create conditions, can create the environment that would lead the Arab countries on one hand and Israel on the other hand to make peace. But the peacemaking is the responsibility of the parties to the conflict.
In 1979, Israel signed its first peace treaty with Egypt, and in 1994, its second treaty with Jordan. Both agreements have held for decades, despite ups and downs.
The peace agreements that Israel made proved several things. First, Israel wants peace. Secondly, Israel can make peace with real countries when there are real joint interests. But third, Israel should not try to make peace with make-believe organizations of make-believe minorities, with make-believe national movements.
During a rally marking the 20th anniversary, former President Bill Clinton urged Israelis to finish Rabin's legacy of refusing to give up his peace dream, even in the face of terror.
Whenever there was a terrible incident here and I would call him, he simply repeated what we in the White House came to know as Rabin's Law. We will fight terror as if there were no negotiations, but we will negotiate as if there were no terror.
But Woodlansky says if Rabin were alive today, he would likely rethink the so-called Rabin's Law.
I think he would be very disappointed with his own endeavor and would say Israel has to rely upon itself, upon God, and upon its own better judgment to survive and to thrive.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Mount Herzl Cemetery, Jerusalem.